to lesson 4. In this lesson we're going to be looking at a group of artists called the Surrealists. So the Surrealist was an artistic movement, which is the term we give to a group of artists who worked together, collaborated with each other and had similar ideas, interests and influences. The main concepts being the subconscious, so the dreams, that kind of thing, and also unusual combinations of everyday objects and situations. In order to create your surrealist artwork, what I'm going to do is give you a series of instructions. So we lay all of the materials out that we've got. I'm going to close my eyes and pick one. The artist Andre Breton, who was one of the pioneers of the surrealist movement, and something that he invented, or something that he invented the name for, was something called automatic drawing. And what this involved was, again, closing your eyes and just drawing on the page and seeing what happens. Try not to draw anything in particular. Just switch off and enjoy the free movement. Obviously trying to keep on the paper. Don't want to be doing any drawing on your kitchen table or anything like that. So maybe put some newspaper down if you're worried that that's going to happen. Okay, that'll do. In lesson 3, we looked at collage. So what we're going to do now is we're going to use this to create a collage on the second piece of paper. So Surrealists used collage, lots of Surrealists used photographic collage, used found materials, but they're also interested in something which they called deconstruction and reconstruction. So I'm going to deconstruct this and then reconstruct it on a new piece of paper. You might choose to use scissors if you want to do a more precise cut, but just for the sake of an example, I'm going to do it quite quickly. Same as with the collage exercises, I'm trying out some different arrangements before I stick it down. But I'm happy with that. I'm going to stick that down. So the next thing we're going to do is we're going to start working into this new piece of work which we've got here, and you can use any of the materials you've got, any colours, it doesn't matter. What I would like you to do is to spend a while looking at the lines and shapes that you've created here and to try and spot some objects, some things, some recognisable features, and then draw them in. So for example here, this to me looks a little bit like some eyes. So I'm going to turn this into some eyes. Living with anyone else, with a sibling or a parent who's doing this with you or someone like that, you can always ask them if they can see anything. You can even swap with each other. A good way of seeing other things as well is to change where you're looking. So looking from this angle, this doesn't look like much to me, but if I turn it around, I've seen a crocodile. So I would look for maybe 5 or 6 things. So we've got some eyes, we had a mountain, a crocodile, a foot in a flip-flop, and a book. So what I'd like you to try and do is remember a dream. If you don't dream, try and think of a daydream or a wish or something like that. Just something that isn't real, something that hasn't happened, something that is from your subconscious, from your mind. And I would like you to draw it anywhere on the page, following the instructions and thinking about the ideas and the concepts. And the Surrealists would try and illustrate their dreams. In a recent dream of mine, I was driving, which is unusual because I don't have a car or a driving license. So I guess that's what I'm going to add. I'm going to add here. So for the next stage is we're going to focus on the fantasy landscape, which is something that appeared in a lot of Surrealist artworks, particularly Salvador Dali and Yves Tanguy. So when I look at this piece, I can see lots of blue flowing lines that immediately remind me of rivers, and rivers on maps, and rivers in aerial photographs. However, that is not a fantasy landscape. Rivers exist. So I need to think of another element that I can add in order to make it surreal, fantastical, not normal. So what I have come up with, I've had a little think off camera, and I've decided to make it a river, but a river in the sky. As is often the case with the artworks, definitely the projects that you've done so far, is that your ideas are going to develop as your work progresses. So I said I was going to do a night sky, then I had a day sky, and then I've developed that into a kind of sunset or sunrise. What I'd like to do, unless you have already filled the page with the various different stages, is just to continue travelling around the page, looking for different areas, and you can go back to the second exercise, you can go back to dreams, or you can go back to the fantasy landscape, or you can just kind of look at which colours might fit in somewhere, what materials haven't you used, and just try and fill the page until you're happy that you've got a nice, balanced, I guess, finished image. When you've finished, the last thing that I would like you to do, so the last Surrealist concept that we're going to introduce, is to pass the artwork to someone else and just ask them to give it a name. For the sake of simplicity, to keep it simple, limit them to 3 words, a 3-word name. Whereas this might mean something to me, and I might see certain things. If I give it to someone else, they're going to see something completely different and give it a different name and therefore a different meaning.